put her on the street. He's met me. Wash you dead. It was the wrong way. Oh no. What are we working on today? So we are working on. I got another stream on the go here. Just give me 1 sec to lower that up. Okay. I don't know if I can do. Oh, that's really cute. It's so cool. I did not realize that new 3D printer boards look like oh my goodness, look like gaming PC motherboards. That's pretty fun. I like that. Ooh. Would this be 3D printer driver board? It looked like a 3D printer motherboards. Ooh. It was pretty cool looking. It had like the heat sink on it looked like a heat sink. Oh jeez. Oh no, not shopping. Oh yeah, okay. I think it was this one, but it had a heat shield on it. Big Tree Tech. That looks like. Yeah, there it is. That's friggin' cool looking, man. Oh, I like that. That's pretty cool. Oh wow. Jeez, that's not bad at all. Big Tree Tech. Oh. Boo. How about Big Tree Dash Tech? That looks right. ONS. Junior Marcus. Doom 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 doom. Very, very neat. Do they have a bunch of stuff? Is it just 3D printer stuff too, or is it laser, machining? Pandas love bamboo? What is that about? Pandas. That sounds like something with Python. Python. Oh, it is BQ equipment. Okay. BQ. Claw extruder gear. You look at these parts, you're like, oh, that's not so bad. It's like, yeah, but then stack them all together and you need like 30 of them. 30 different parts, mind you, not just the same ones. Alright. Up to here. Harder than ever, never you. Get some Pampers. For the Mexican, but not for the white man. The streets, it wasn't about Rodney King. Fucked up beliefs. Damn. That was wild, man. LA riots back in the 80s. 90s? 1992. It's in the beginning of the song. Alright. I promised you I was gonna maybe do something with that. I was gonna finish up that. Was it the exhaust header I was working on? Shit. Where was that? Was it under exhaust parts? I don't think it was. Did I do this collector fully already? Oh, I did, yeah. So the formed collector. And I'm pretty sure this is just a loft. Yeah. And then this is a slip fit, and then you just weld all the way around it. This is probably the preferred way of doing any kind of collector. The formed this curvature is much better, I would think, than the straight pipes, but maybe not. It looks like it'll flow better. So maybe we'll throw that into the other. So that's an exhaust parts collector. So exhaust parts, was this in Carsies? Maybe? I'm not sure. Oh my goodness. Why are you holding your face like that? So that I don't sound like this. So that I sound more open. Oh my goodness. I was trying to stretch my face out yesterday, but now my neck hurts. Like where I was stretching my neck yesterday. These two things. That was expected. Everything's getting a little bit too tight. So I promised myself that I wasn't going to eat late last night, and I didn't. And I'm going to do the exact same tonight. So I had an egg salad sandwich and most of a steak, I would say. Yeah, 90% of it. A little bit of onions, a little bit of mushrooms. It was pretty good. I don't have any picture to show, so it's nothing to. I don't think anything to like super write home about. I didn't do anything fancy. Just fried it in a pan. Stuck it underneath the broiler for a little bit. Let's search for manifold. Manifold design. Who knows what it is? Autodesk gotta spin up one of the old servers for this thing. Wow, look how long it's take to open this document. Like 30 seconds, man. That's some old shit. Real old. Oh my god. I'm gonna stop recording. I don't need to really record all this stuff. think I can download it from thing anyways. Although it is nice to have stuff on my end, but not really. It's not necessary. Who else is streaming today? Wow, all I wanted to do was open something. Maybe this actually is from yesterday. I don't think so though. Yeah, it is 2/19/25. No, that couldn't have been. No, maybe that was when I created it the first time. I don't remember creating it in 2025 though. It's having trouble. It's so funny. It was a parking spot. Oh, jeez. You are in the form context environment because the design was last saved without finishing the form? Is that the reason why? So... Do. Ever so. Wow. Poor Fusion. So it's too bad that's not gonna open. Doo-doo. I don't know why this would be in the forum context and why it's having such a problem opening it. That's really funny. You hear that, or this stuff that just isn't available, you know? Boom, boom. Who knows? This is supposed to be here. There we go. My bad. Must alt tabbed out of this or something. It's conflicting because it's going into something. There's probably stuff in here that's from an added, which is the reason why it's struggling. Doesn't look very good though. Maybe we'll just cancel that. Oh look, we send a send kill and then it just suddenly stops doing its thing. Come on, we can do it. Yeah, this needs to go. I'm not gonna send you shit. Give me back my memory. There we go. Oh. We're going to try this over again. Recent data. Collector, grocery cart. Yeah, I opened up a bunch of stuff. Oh, that's right, show and tell last night. So we had curved collector. I opened up a lot of stuff there. Header. That's what it was. I knew it was something. All right. So yeah, what I tried yesterday wasn't perfect in comparison to what I did before that. So let me see. You know, if they were I can't even say that it won't work. It's just that okay, let's go. What I did was I left these all kind of like loose. So what I'm gonna do is change these to like a fixed and like a rigid group instead of a fixed one. So we can do edit joint. So if I do a rigid joint instead, and then I should be able to choose the position. So I'm gonna do something that looks like, yeah, okay, 125. Let's try that. So now it's ooh, video card was having a fit there. 125, 126. So do 125 because that's a little bit nicer. And then we're just gonna work our way pretty much down to where this one is. And then this one will be this could be a custom component, or it's just like this one fits here and this one fits here, like that sort of idea. And then I adjust the two, and possibly the rotation, or however we want that to work. Right? So because now all these they're fixed in place. Oops. Or maybe we can do this one here as the where these two things need to align with each other. So ideally it would be nice to have yeah, these things sort of like work themselves out. Something like that. And then this here too. So this component is these are all individual components. I don't want to tip my desk over here. Get myself a little bit more space. All right. So the first one and the second one were done with 3D Sketch, which worked out okay. And then this last one here was, or sorry, the last two, I think, or maybe the last three, I forget exactly, are all, they're variable in size. They're constrained but variable, much like how these are, but these are individual components instead of just one long piece where I can extract out later. I wanted to try and do this just with all individual components. So this is just for trying stuff out and figuring out kind of what works best in each situation. So from here on, and I can go back into these into like this sketch, for example, in that particular component, which is here, and actually give that a like 65, for example. Should be able to. Oops. Yeah, 65 degrees. And I can actually lock that into place with a dimension. And then that's really constrained in space now. It's not moving anywhere. This, I believe, is still variable. So this doesn't really matter that much. That was one of the original sketches for these other ones here. And then same thing with this one, edit the sketch on that. And then I'm just gonna change that to toggle driving. Maybe make it, I don't know, 20. Shot. There we go. So there's 20. And then I can do the same thing with this one. And all of these can be left maybe a little bit variable. And then can be locked in along the way to something that is more easy to manufacture. So I think it's just easier, like a 32.8 degree is just going to be made to like 33 or 32 or maybe even 35 or 40 degrees, depending on how accurately you can cut things. These things aren't particularly that easy to work with. Weld Ls. Can never remember how to say that. So depending on the machine that you have and how it's held, right, you might have to like get it close and then grind it flat, or on some sort of jig, like grinding jig or something like that, to make it flat and on angle. So how do you hold this, right? So it has to have its own holder, or you might have to weld something on top of it so you can hold that piece and then cut the welds off after. So there's a little bit of work that goes into that. I'm just having some fun here. There's no it's not for anybody or anything. Okay, so getting this close. Something like that. A little bit more angle. Like that is so incredibly close. I would just call that good, to be honest. I don't think that I can actually do a proper joint between, like, say, oops, not these two. This and this, and actually have it work and stick. Because it's gonna give me a warning, and it's not gonna rotate all the other joints to be like that, where they should go. So that's where I left off the other day, saying, okay, well, what can I do, in order to get this to like the correct spot. So it's not gonna move because I have a joint in here that's garbage. Delete. So this is gonna move the whole thing, so I need to move that. So that is more in line. Actually, let's try to see if an align will work. Sometimes it will do that. Yep. So that's flat. Now, attached to everything else, it's not going to move. I don't think it's going to move everything else. It's just going to move the last one. So maybe it will move. Hang on. Do this one to that spot, to this spot. No. Now, if I was to take that off, it'll certainly do it. Because I can move this whole thing now. Right? Oops. And then that's just only for positioning. So because I want this It's not necessarily this one here, but it might be that. Just gonna delete this. That'll kill the joints for me. Now I can move this around, or I should be able to. So let's do joint between here. This really wants to go all crazy. And because that's rigid, does the double click not work anymore? Bullshit. I can kind of get an idea of where I want this to go, you know, just by looking at it. Oh, there we go. So this is 70 degrees. Probably pretty close. It would be nice to use like a larger radius into these things. A little bit larger radius. Okay, we can hear. It's fun to double check the audio, make sure it sounds okay. Where this is flows mostly nicely. And then same with this one here. Okay. I get into these ruts where I just like I'm thinking weirdly about stuff. So I need another piece. So I deleted the one, but I can copy and then paste new. Away. We're gonna do a revolute on this one, just that I can change it a little bit. Can I grab onto this and change it? I do have a select path, right? Yep. Okay. And we're in the same situation. So what I really wanted to do was make something where, or maybe it's a compromise between the two, because this is like actually not a bad way to model stuff. This is rigid, that's rigid, up into this location. This is mostly rigid. All these things are rigid. They're rigid size. But I want it to be able to be automatic in a certain sense, like this last one was here. So, and then these were automatically done. So let's go back and take a look at that one. So joint, new. Where is the new one stuff here? Okay. So we're gonna go back to rollback. Street to here. Turn on some of the sketches that I had before. It's gonna shut off that one and this one. So that was the original. So what did I do? I'm just gonna turn off this original sketch here. So I have this as the original, this one, and then I started diverting a little bit because I wanted to constrain these as much as I could. So this is this angle is fixed in place because it's got the black. So this is based on this is based on this, so on and so forth, all the way back. But I needed this one to be variable, and I believe also this one is variable, or it's one of these. So it's this one and this one, I think, and then this is constant. So I believe this is tangent. Let me see here. Yep. So this one's tangent to here in this one sketch. Okay. So I have a projection, and then these two things are constrained in radius, but they're not constrained for rotation and a bunch of other things. So, the curvature size is maintained, but the angle of them is not constrained. So it can be whatever it needs to be. And this length here. So arc length, arc length is all variable, and their interactions between each other based on where this is and where this is. So use these three things to go through. And you can kind of see like the interaction between this is the center line of the tube radius, the center line of the tube. So go through here all the way up and over, and then all of these are manufacturable easily because they're all the same, they're constrained. Whereas using a fluid path, for example, I don't know if I can constrain a spline like that. Let me check into that, because if I can, that makes life way easier. Can I... Is it possible to constrain a spline to straight or find a radius? I don't think I can. I think you have to do it with individual lines, lines and arcs. Because that would be really cool if you could say, okay, you could do the splines, but it's not even a spline. It would be like a polyline almost. That's going to like old AutoCAD sort of idea. Depending on whether you're using a control point spline or a fit point spline, however, you can achieve these effects by applying constraints strategically to the spline's control points or to the fit points, depending on whether you're using a control point or a fit point spline. Yeah, so let's we could actually just explore that really quickly here. I think this is what we had here, right? Yeah. So if we create a spline, this by its nature is going to show the handles. There we go. Depending on where all this goes, I don't understand the math behind this. I've really never gotten into it too far. What I do know is that if I have a start and an endpoint, for example, and these are constrained in space, essentially this is what I was doing with that other, and then this is constrained like that. I have these are all constrained as far as it's concerned. So if I was to fix this point in space, and then this one also fix, I believe, oops, I have to fix the whole thing. So they don't move. Fix, yeah. This becomes defined, black, 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 right? So it shows this, these are fixed, it's not fully constrained, but to do the demonstration for this. So I can't I can't do this in any way. The only thing I can do is I can dimension the points like this. I can draw things to constrain. So if I want to do like a center point, so something perfect in between those two and directly, I can do that. And then I can constrain the relationships between this has to be equal to this, which also has to be equal to this, right? So these should be, regardless of what I do, these should be pretty good, right? Or I could do symmetry as well. But I can't constrain the arc. So let's do a similar situation. So we're gonna figure some shit out here. Some stuff. Fix. So I fix these in place too, why not? Fix. And then if we do, let's do fit point. Oh, don't move them around. Right. Okay. So I have the two things like this, and that gives me a similar sort of constraint. So its relationship between the two gives me some variability that way, instead of using it the other way around. So I can constrain this, constrain that, and then I could say, we'll just make them equal. Right? So if they're equal, this is technically the smoothest way. Or is that all this is doing? It's pretty darn close, right? So I'm pretty sure that that's the automated version of those two things. I'm in a mood. So just gonna fix that. And then the automatic version. Seems about right. And then the other way that I like, the way that I was doing it. So you have the two, fix, probably put a hotkey for that. I was just using the line command. So curve, straight, and then curve. Oops, up to there. So then if I wanted symmetry, equals, and then I could say I want these would be 50. I'm gonna have to move this over here. There we go. So this is 50. Let's try 80. 120. Not gonna work. 80. So there's larger curvature that goes along with all this stuff. So being tangent, it can only be I can only be constrained within this. So using the arcs, I'm just gonna draw full circles just so you can kind of see what we're going with here. So if this was larger, just gonna constrain that to here. Right? Oh yeah, no. So if these are the relationship between these two things, same thing, constrain it to that, tangent wise, and we're gonna make these the same. it's the relationship between the two. So because I fixed this in space, so if we unfix that, fix unfix, so I should be able to move these. Unfix. Hopefully I'm not going to make things die. Okay, there we go. So see how I screwed that up? It made things go in a full other direction. So now I can do 100 because it's growing. Oh geez, don't die. These are both the same, but now this is oh geez. Okay. Let's make these equal to each other as well. And then we'll just fix it in spaces like 10 or something. So I should have room to make these pretty big, 150. And then we'll just bring them, I don't know, slightly closer together. Where were they before? Changing it, it's changing it a little bit, so 120. Can't resolve. So basically the radius can't go further down than here, which makes sense. So if we're looking at the relationships of everything, and then this becomes whatever it is. So these are all just in reference to each other. Right? So 110. Nope, can't do it. And that, why is that? So if we go over this, then this breaks this, these break this constraint. And this is kind of the idea of what I'm going over with the other piece. So it's like, how does all the geometry and the curvature work with each other? And remember, this is just in one plane. So now we have twists involved as well. So if things are coming at a weird angle like this, what's that one curve that joins the two? So does that one curve have to be split in half and that whole thing have to be rotated again? So if that's not on a plane, so for this idea here, where was the second one? This had to be split into two pieces because it can rotate here, it can rotate here, it can rotate. Yeah. Come on now. It can rotate here. And it can rotate here. Right? So you're thinking of the pieces because each individual line section is being it could actually be manufactured like that to whatever angle that we need. Relatively speaking at any point, but sometimes like within manufacturability of the machine. So like this might not be able to be done. You'd have to do this one whole piece and then have grip length. And then this piece would have to be longer and have grip length. Then each one of those gets cut off to its radius, or one is cut off here or in the middle or wherever that's practical. And then you weld them together at that point. If you wanted like a continuous piece. But some machines are small enough to do that. Mantra benders are really cool. Very, very interesting machines. And that could very well be made in one piece because the path is very fluid. And then same with this one here. This one is very fluid. So as much work as this is, I think this is probably the better approach, but I'm just trying to see if there's something that I can do with Fusion to make doing this a little bit easier or componentize it, I guess. So I'll go all the way to the end again here. So that's kind of a good study just to see like standard spline, fit point spline, the automatic version of that, and then using lines and arcs. And they all look relatively like the same. This one is probably a little bit sharper, but it's a known distance. It's like, how do I break this up into its segments its line segments where the arc and the straight and then the arc is, because this is probably not, this is probably curved here just like this one is, or it looks like it. So one curve goes into another and it's just one curve and then the next curve, where this one is a curve, a straight piece, and then another curve. That's the idea. So of manufacturability like this. This is obviously the shortest path, flat. So yeah. So yeah, we have this thing. Let's just try to see if we can figure out how to get this to go automatically, or we can get to the 90%. So it's just this, and this that have to be connected to each other, right? So let's do it that way. Yeah. Oh, I can't delete that. Why not? You, and you. I have to select these directly, right? Delete. Yep. So now I have maybe a couple of these things, or can I say, could I align? Because this is a variable, right? Like if I knew that, like say I want to keep this, the same, or maybe these two angles, like between this angle and this one being tangent, I want one that looks exactly the same, and I want it to be this far away. So then I have a pipe leading up to that one, and then I have another pipe leaving that one. Or I could say I want a radius one, so it's double the radius of this one. It's a long radius. And that one flows a little bit better. You know what I mean? So that's all. We could lower this one because it doesn't need to be that high. Maybe something like that. How big is this one? 151. So let's do edit sketch. We're gonna drive 150. And we already knew that this kind of works in this location already. What we can do is shorten this one up, maybe 64. Oh, I'm sorry, 70. Too much. Actually, that one looks good at 70. And then the rotation of this one, a joint. So this actually isn't, that's not that bad to like really 72. So you just to kind of look at it and go, does this actually look okay? You know, there's nothing wrong with doing things by sight. Was it better 70? I could have just, yeah, maybe that is fine. And then driving again, 60. Right. And then what is this one here? 100. Oh, that's the bottom one. So like realistically, this is not a bad way to do stuff. It might seem like a little bit more work, but not really. What am I doing here? Driving 125. Okay. So now that I have these two things, I can create a sketch. and just in the main header. So this is going to be a 3D sketch, so it doesn't really matter where it's going. Let's include some 3D geometry because we have that. You and you. So that's where we want to go. Get rid of all this stuff here. And these two. And we can even shut all these things off here. So those are the two angles. They're not straight with each other, but it seems okay. So the idea behind this is that if we have curvature, what's the easiest curve? So that's what that easiest curve is going to look like. So let's try and get close to that just by using arcs and stuff. Or I could just say we just need a piece that looks like this. And that technically will work. So, but let's just say oops. Is there a comment? See, like it's split in the middle for sure. You can see that because it's at like two different angles, like, you know, like that. Just put my hands up in the air. It's at two different angles. Right? And to get it close, maybe we can do something like that. Then it's going to be straight. Something like that. So if we can constrain these to here, let's do some constraints in the middle first. And we know this is going to be 38. This is going to be equal to this one. So can we, these are constrained like that, can we constrain these to, no, let's do the constraints here to here first. And now can I constrain this one to this one? Yes, but it goes the other way. So let's try and get it into a better position first. So this is just trying to get it to go over here a little bit better. And then this is kind of just like, oops. Okay. Oh. These are just tools to like get it into like closer position so the math works out better. So if I could do that, oops. So now that's in there pretty decent, and this angle is closer than the other one. It should go, yeah, perfect. So now this is 35, this is that, and then there's a straight piece in the middle. And at that radius, 26 or whatever, could I do 38? Perfect. And that's exactly what I was looking for. So now, when I turn everything back on again, I have the approach, and then These are the two pieces that I need in order to do that transition fairly smoothly. Oops. Just like that. So I can do, I'd have to, actually, if I wanted to, how could I align these? It's like, it might be just easier to make it than it would be to use an existing component and make it work to that. And I think that's totally okay. That's why I was always thinking about, is there a way where I can use both together, or should I just sketch the whole thing and then make all the components afterwards? Because it really doesn't matter that much. It's just getting the process to work to work the best. That's all. Okay. So let's do a pipe. Only this one here. 38. And new body. Actually, I could say even new component. It's even better. Here. 38. New component. Right. And it's kind of like this similar sort of thing. So maybe this is the best way to do that. That's pretty awesome. Like when you think about what's going on there. And then tube 1, tube 2, tube 3. Flange, right? Not bad. Not bad between the two. So if I was to do something similar, so what's really cool is that I can do like a rigid joint of all these. What I like about this compared to the other way I did it, the other way was like just do the whole thing and then all of these are in their pipe section. So this thing here is just one long piece, where I could have done it in its own section too, like create a component. That component has this one sketch in it through the whole thing from the outside. Then as I make the pieces, it's creating all the small pieces within that. You can name them like whatever I want because they're just being created by whatever. Shrew, hey, thanks for dropping by. At least I know something's working and watching. So I'll give you another 10 seconds or so. I'll give you to 59 minutes. How's that? Good enough. So the yeah, so like I think that's probably a good way to do it. So then each thing is a component, and then or sorry, like a component of components. So one tube, and then like say if this was like a mass manufacturer thing, thinking about down the road, this one tube is all of these parts, all, and then each one of these parts has a drawing to them, so on and so forth. So the yeah, so like it aligns straightforward, and then everything else that follows that in the model is also nicely done. So we're gonna do this last tube. I think just with the maybe with a mix of the two. I kind of like doing this one, and to be honest, I could just copy. I could copy just these components. So if I do just components here, so 1, 2, 3, and then probably 4, 5. I could copy these again, paste new, right? I think I have to joint these all again. Yep. Oops. Not a big deal. Ooh, not that one. Sure. This could be rigid. Actually, the previous one could be rigid as well. one can be Revolut. Oh no. It got me again. There we go. Oh, it was the other one there that I got on. Not watching where all my stuff is going. So that one there. Beautiful. It's rigid. Okay. And then I'm going to do a revolute joint for here to here. And then what this does is it just allows me to say, hey, how far out does this have to be? So this one's going to be out a little bit further. If I can actually select it all. Oops. To do my selection filters. I should set up hotkeys for all that stuff. You know, I've been using it for, oh geez, I gave it an extra minute and a half. Look at you. Lucky duck. 30. So does that actually clear? Because I want it to come down maybe something like that. It's gonna shoot right into there. Yep. So I have the measurements now. Maybe 65. Oops. Maybe add a little bit further. Yeah, that's all right looking. So this one here maybe should come around like this, and this one will go over top, but whatever. It just looks funny. It looks so dumb, right? Burr, 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 burr. Yeah, it's funny how you get things tangled up and looking at it going, okay, well, I don't know how many adders I haven't designed yet. So let's do here, moving this down here or something like that. And then it's just gonna go to where, to here, 130. Oops. So we like here we go. What does this say? 85? There we go. Edit joint. This is going to be rigid now. Yep. And I'm going to do 85. Right, so rigid. So this isn't going to move anymore. It's going to be out a little bit further. And then now I can say 120. Oops. 100. It's not 100. Reset my view here. Maybe even closer. 90, 80. Let's try that. Now I have this. This needs to be a lot less. Then it's coming underneath, right? Trying to stay within that tube. And then now this one needs to be a little bit more, 100. Can I won't and it don't stop. Wow, what a strange thing. Ska Club. What else do I want to listen to? Paul Oakenfold. Oh my goodness. Eminem. It's been a while since I watched that. Oh, Stain. Let's do that. It's a decent one. Not saying that I'm feeling like that right now, but you know, could be like a little bit of soul stuff in there. Do. So yeah, this is quite possibly the worst header ever. Don't ever design it like this. For the design, anyways. So, where am I going to? There's a sketch. Is it 6? Yeah, this one here. Pipe, her position, new component. So the nice part about doing something like this is that whatever the length of this sketch is, that's just that's what that's based on because it's Fusion. It's probably gonna do like 130 or something. No, 30. My fingers. So to keep that, I don't know, something like this. 120. Just so it's past that pipe a little bit. And then now we're in that same situation where we can draw that, you know, I'm going to edit the joint because it's roughly in the right spot. Oh, geez. What was this again? Does that say... Oh, shit, I can't read it. Minus 78? Okay. So as long as I know what to put in here. Edit joint. Rigid. Minus 80. No, that's not right. Edit. Did I say 90? I am fat fingering stuff like no tomorrow. It's you. I did something wrong here. Edit sketch. Where are you? I get to profiles. $17. Just like a little sliver. So that's locked into place, that's locked into place, that's locked into place, and it's just the rotation. So was I clicking? Oh, I was clicking the wrong one. So that one's good. Edit, joint. So rigid minus 80. Edit. I screwed it up the first time. 80? I could just like rigid joint it too. Revolute 19. So it's 90. It's 90, but it's showing. So minus 90's here. Whatever it is, right? So minus 80. This one's, I think it's backwards. So if I do 90, so that's 90. And if I do 0, where's 0? So 0's flat. It's pretty close, so it's probably 10. Minus 10. I was right. Good guess. Good first guess, Carsey. Yeah, 10. So in a similar situation here. So which ones do I need to do in order to get there? So similar situation. You're gonna do a 3D sketch. Include some stuff here. Because these two things are located in space. They're constrained, or that looks like they are. They're white on the ends. That's the reason why I was questioning myself here. Include 3D geometry. Boom. So all these things, you turn off that. Turn off the other bodies. Oh, it was just the one thing. My bad. I don't know why I got out of the sketch here. Okay, so there's the two. Edit sketch again. I don't know why I keep on getting out of that by accident. No big deal, I guess. And just to quick sanity check, right? That looks like it's gonna work. It's gonna be arc in a straight spot, and we'll do it similar like we did before. Just too busy with yourself. I wonder if I could just do this. Fade. This would make my whole day. Give me a minute. I want to have this in line with this one. Oh, it's straight. That's the reason. I was like, why is that not doing that? It's like, because it's constrained, silly goose. Okay, so if I was to fillet these, oh my god, 38, and do this one. Come on. Come on. So that looks awfully similar, doesn't it? Right? And now man, what a great tune. Fade away. To fade. So if I was to not have this here, but back here somewhere, I could, because that's constrained, I could say bam, put that here. Right? And then maybe same thing. Sometimes you can't select these to save your life. So this one works here, but now I can take this one and put it here maybe. See, I'm getting myself into this situation where this might break because I'm like literally forcing it to do something. It doesn't want to. I am not wanting. See, it wants to go all weird. That's so funny. It could be the dimension. Let's take the dimension out. It's strange, man. Because it's like right there. Doesn't want to do it for whatever reason. Let's do one of these. It's me. It is fighting me the whole way. It won't do it. It does not want to, and I know it will. Just it's the math doesn't work. See how it's like offset a little bit? My surface welling. I've gone and fucked things up. I always do. See, this is how I know it'll work. So if it's beyond it, maybe I can get it to coax it in here now. Failed to solve. Man. Consequences that I've rendered. Up again. Yeah. So when it's like this, see if I can tangent connect this to here. And now I can do end to end. Wait. So there's another, well, it's right on the end. So I could give it a link before I put the fillet on it, because that'll give me half the radius, but I won't know because the length might be sticking out a little bit further. So this is it's locked into space, sort of. It just doesn't want to. It's so funny. Look, see, I know the geometry works. It works damn near, it works perfectly. Now I just want you to connect to each other. Do it. Let's reconnect these things here. Come on, I know you want to. U to endpoint. Maybe it's just selecting the wrong one. There we go. Yeah, it was just like literally selected the wrong one. So I'm pretty happy with as far as like all that stuff goes. Let's turn the other bodies around. Is this the best flowing header in the world? I don't think so. So this is just how do we get here? 38. Da-da-da-da-da. Right, so that's not actually that much pain. So now we have like a transition to here too. So if I wanted to cut little slivers for that, how do we go about doing that? Ooh. All right. So the idea, we have a bunch of tubes and stuff here. Turn off all these, so we don't need them, but we do need another sketch. 3D sketch. And I don't actually know if we can do yeah, we should be able to. So if I do here to here and here to here, and I just 38. Oh shit. Do I get the little sliver? And I do. Right? And that's tangent connected to each, like where that spot is, based on how big that is. So that's my the little tangent thing there. And I can take that off, and I can take this off, or I could maybe delete them all together. They're locked into place, I think. Are these black on the ends? They are indeed not. So what I can do, okay. So let's start over. We have, let's project 3D geometry. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want to put radiuses on all of these. So that's what I'm working with. Turn off the joint so it looks a little more clean. Right. These don't need to be here either. God, that'd be cool if there was like a fillet you could use for that. And you wouldn't have to go through this level of something. Oops. So I know that I have a 2 lines here to here and say here to here. These should be, I don't know, 20 or something. They just have to be equal with each other, I would think. They're tacked into place, and that's fully constrained. Now, if I was to make this 38, These are no longer tacked into place. Well, this one is. This one is here. And this one on the end is as well, sort of. So if I go from here, that makes a plane. I can say lock that in the middle. So you and you. And then this one, here to here. So to locate these in place, these just have to be equal. So, and then that should become perfect because it's based on the location of this radius. No. See, it wants to, but I don't think it can. It's like sort of constrained. So it is a plane, but it's based on like where this radius starts and ends. It doesn't like it. It certainly doesn't like it. So this is 38. What's that? Noodles are an exhaust of some kind? Yeah, so just playing around with the exhausts. This is like a... Well, it's not an exhaust. It's just something I just wanted to design for funsies to explore. Sketching component options, using joints to get like a workflow, I guess, to do this sort of thing. Because I don't think the automation for line and arc exists in Fusion. So you can do splines and stuff like that, but it's hard to manufacture something like that. Well, without the right machinery, I suppose it's hard. Accurately, I guess would be the thing. How you doing today? Thanks for stopping by. Okay. I lost my train of thought here. I was thinking about how to lock this curve into place. With all itself, I guess. Let's just draw out the full arc. And a lot of the times that is possible as well. Instead of a short arc. So this will give me the external. Yeah, give me a sec. I'll let you look at the full thing here. It's the worst exhaust that I've ever seen. I think I started it like ages ago. I forgot when I there we go. Knock these things down, and then can I do symmetric with this? Ooh, I don't know if I can or not. That should be a plane because it's a standard arc. Did I not do that right? Or did I turn it off? No, it's definitely a plane. Oh, it is. Yeah, it is a fillet for sure. Yeah. What I'm doing is it's like an afterthought. Here, I'll show you. This is it's one bad decision on top of another. So I think I'm going back like a few years here, like when I first started doing like this sort of idea. It was called a Sidewinder or something for like a Honda. I don't know. One of my friends like, hey, can you make something like this? So I'm like, I don't know, let's try it. And I'm pretty sure it was like this because there was like an alternator or something right here. I forget exactly. That's what I was remembering. So it's like I shoved everything in the one side here. Typically, I don't think I would do this, so I would just buy a formed collector or even form it myself. So there is a... I was just doing radiuses for these things here. I don't know, I'm maybe just forgetting the easy way to do that. I always forget stuff like this for some reason. I usually just sketch everything out, but it was all sketched at different times. So, where is the collector? Yeah, something like that. And shove it on the end. Okay. 2, 3, 4. I should have an end sketch there. Let's see what I got here. Where's my... 16 is the big one. Screw it, I'll just make one. Make these a little bit bigger so I don't look like a psychopath. Alright. So these are all square. Oops. Not just you in the center. Not 3D sketch. Let's shove that on there. It's probably a better way to do it. I'd have to... Oh, not that. What are you guys doing? He's a little big, yeah? I could probably drop the component though. Let's see. Let's do a 90. How much a slip we want here? 25? Okay. At some point they made these like things enormous. Sketches. Show the dimensions. Let's get rid of the rest of this stuff here. Section analyses. Really? Fusion. Alright. Cleaned up enough. So the... I'm gonna do... I'm trying to remember all the steps that I made to do this. So 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it really is all that. Okay. Let's do edit. Oh, is there a slice sketch in here now? Oh, what? That's new. Either that or I never noticed it before. That's really cool. Oh, does it go back to the original location? How did I never notice that before? Ah, interesting. That's something I got to explore. New feature. Oh, I think I misunderstood your question before. So the fillet on the 3D part be a good solution? I guess I could. Let's do a small study on that. So if I was to, like, I have two angles, like for example, they don't have to be anything special. The idea, so the idea, is it on there? Okay. That I had, so you could do the fillet for sure. And like actually just using the fillet command is fine too. So to have that as like a specific, oh geez, it's gonna go all over the place. Let's fix these. 38. There we go. What? Come on. Really? Oh geez, I did a middle one. Midpoint, no. Try and do something quick and it never ends up being quick. There we go. So, yeah, I guess it would be. This is the idea anyway. So I had three pieces, to go there, or I could just do the one. So because these are pipes, I'll just make this here. And this one here. I'll make the bodies instead. Bodies, maybe a little bit easier. New body. And I think, what's the easiest way to do this? As far as I like learning new techniques to do stuff in Fusion. So what I would remember is I need a complementary angle, and then I replace face, I think. So mid-plane between the two. And then replace to here, replace to here. So that'll give me this. I put these two together. I don't actually know if this would do this correctly. Because that'll, like, it'll give me a fillet, but it's not going to give me the proper curvature. I could just do sweep, obviously, like that's how I would normally do that. Using the pipe command, like having this drawn in the sketch, or drawn in shortly, I guess. Did I draw this in? Yeah. Okay. I would normally just do like a pipe, right? And then another pipe. And then another pipe sort of idea, if I could get it to go. I guess I screwed that one up. Pipe. New body. And then I would do this within components, and then I have like a set of components for like the shape. Or like I was doing before, to connect the ends. These are all kind of like rotate all these in place, lock them down afterwards just by like going into them. I don't even know if I made that one locked in. And then just draw the, or yes, right. And then the last connection, just draw that in. So get really close, get this out to wherever you want to go to, and then join the two with like the arcs. and then just create the next ones like that. That's how I figured it would kind of be good. So I'm gonna shut all this stuff off here. Oops. And I just select the, what did I have open? Analyses. Let's do an edit on this one. The outside of these ones are 38. Oh dear. Yeah, this is definitely an old sketch. These are based. Wow, that is not a good sketch. So bolt circle of this, and these are not constrained correctly. So these should always be square. I'm wondering if this is even possible. No. These are like, it's off a little bit. I typically wouldn't do this, actually. Isolate. Turn that off. There you go. Which origin is on here? Yeah, typically I don't think that's great. So if we want to lock you in correctly, let's make sure the 3D sketch is off. This is locked in, perfect. And proper constraints are worth thousands. 38. And then the outside. I think these were typical sizes, if I'm not mistaken. Jeez, it's been so long. It's been a long time since I fabricated anything. Like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's one of the things I actually want to try and get into, the polygonal modeling. Where that fillet would have. Oh, okay, just because of how the system works. Do you use oh geez, Rhino? Just chatting with another streamer about Rhino the other day. Okay, so that looks like it's a nice slope. This is, turn on some other stuff here. We were chatting about Rhino and Grasshopper, I think. Okay, so the position of these that I have. Oh, Blender. Okay, cool. Does it have like a similar sort of idea to it? My experience with those are very limited. A little bit more experience with like Cinema 4D, and that's still really limited as well. Excuse me. Let's try that here. Okay, so I have these in place. Doing all these. Where is my ugly like me? You. Get rid of that. Boom. Oh my. So this can be moved. I have everything on here. Okay. Sketches, get that off here. These are not what I wanted. And then the next one. Okay. Colors. Okay, I would have to do this. External component. I'd have to move something back in the time. I don't know how to do that in this program. Light CAD work in Blender, but it's like driving in reverse. Yeah, why would you? Yeah. Yeah, I totally get that. Show dimension. Oh, not this one. So 38 was the outside, and this was the inside. What next do I have here? Edit. So that should be on the outside. Roll back to here. So these are 38 perfects to the outside. It should work, but I don't think it does. Hang on. Let's go forward all the way. These are 38, aren't they? Yeah. Oh, they're further apart. That's why. Oh boy, man, did I ever have a moment there. Okay, I want to have that reference, but that's not right. So, in this one, can I do, turn this off. Just gonna do a quick center to center. We got 40. I think it'd be an inside outside. Yeah, 42, 34. Hey, thank you. Appreciate the follow there. 42, 341. Why that is, I don't know. I could go back and take a look at all that, but 42, 341. I'm just gonna adjust this really quick. This is just all for shitties and gigglies anyways. Let's do an isolate. Oh, it was isolated. How dare me. Okay. There's tangency for these. So 42, 341 is the spread. That should be all the same. I think it is. Yeah. Yeah, we'll just leave that one in there like that. And all the way forward again. Unisolate. What's this one about? Oh, that's what I created before. Yeah. Okay. Origin off. So that works out a little bit better. 42, 341. Did I not do that right? Damn. There's a lot of emotion in this song. Holy shit. Like painful, you know? So 42, 341, and that should have been on the outside. I gotta change the other sketch. Didn't I do that? Ooh, let's see here. I see some stuff that's not constrained, so I'll go through that. Yep, there we go. I knew there was something floating around in there when it doesn't match. That's the trouble with using old stuff, but why not, you know? It's a good chance to learn. It's like, oh, look what I did before, like way back. That's not a good idea. That is also not a good idea. Okay, so this is what controls everything. I am going to... Okay, I'm going to delete this. Very bulbous. And I'm going to project these. So I have them. And I should be able just to lock these in. Ooh, shit. Lock these in there. Oh, the wrong direction. It doesn't want to... I may have to redo some of this stuff. Pushing the limits of Fusion here. Oh, man. That's why there's an order of operation. Everything is like, I don't know what you're trying to do here, bud, but it's not going to work. Yeah, it does not like redoing any of this stuff here. I don't know why half of the stuff is in here either. It's such a strange sort of idea. I think what I did was I had the one and then I overbuilt it. It just doesn't seem right because the one it should be based off the next sketch. Like I don't actually even need this. So if I did these, it's just the perimeter that I need. So these are locked in space. There's tangency here. That's why. That shouldn't actually matter. Equality and tangency. So we can get these to lock. Sometimes the less shit, the better. There we go. Like-minded things. So why is this so far away? Do I need to have... It would actually be nice to have a small offset there too. Ooh. Let's do, I guess, attention to here. Actually, are these all equal to each other? They are. Let's try Yeah, I can. Okay, all the rest of them didn't go, so that's alright. I just do it the way it was done. No reinventing the wheel here. 1 to 2. Sketch arc to here. That one's done already. It's already constrained, bro. Sketch arc to here. There we go. Now usually if we do, let's do 0.03. Actually we could do it even bigger. So if it's all the way around, it's probably fine. 0.06. Oh, is this metric? Oh, it is. 1/16th, so 32nd, and then this would be that, and I can go. It doesn't really matter. I just need the one. It's gonna draw in the gap, but that's fine. I could do. Gee, I forget what the thickness is of the other thing. 3.5. What did I have it at? 16th. Let's just see what that yields us. That goes all the way around, I would imagine. Yeah, there we go. That's fine. Oh, don't disappear on me. What's up again? Did I not? Is this not tacked down? Oh, Jesus! Not even jointed. What am I doing? Zero. Yeah, something like that. So yeah, just having a little bit of fun today with this. I'm wondering if there's another way to connect these two. I thought I remembered something about that. Maybe it's in the plastic area. In Fusion, is there a way to? I think of what I'm remembering is a sheet metal function in Inventor where you can connect two things and it does all the fillets and stuff for you. I think that's what I'm remembering here. Ice Cube. Oh my goodness. Should we do some Ice Cube? So that's pretty gangster. Pretty gangster for streaming. What you got? We did oh yeah, some old school something or others. You can do the night drive, I guess. Good enough. All right. So yeah, there's the three different kinds there. Where did I do? Okay, these were just bodies. So yeah, if I was to go back, Just gonna get rid of these things here. Delete. Move that forward in time. Oh, did I delete that by accident? I did, I must have. So yeah, that was kind of fun. I guess it works. I don't know if I would do. It looks kind of neat, like from the side, like it's a torpedo. I have no idea if this would actually work on anything. It's just where I decide to put the outlet. I would say maybe swapping this one here and this one here, like the two location, just so that this is maybe goes on the, so they're like stacked one on top of another and not like intertwined. So this one can come down. This one's on the outside, similar to this one. So top, bottom, and then side to side. And this might actually have a straighter shot, this upper one. The other thing too is that if I was doing volumes of the header, I started off doing the two here as a study for volume. So these two are, I think, within 2% of each other, I think, for volume. So 520, or you can do it by the mass, same thing. So close as you can get to it, it's 520, 5201, and we got. I have to take a quick break here in a second, and then 5.37. So pretty close, pretty close. Where's this here? 5.3. Yeah, so it's within 5%, which is pretty decent. Just playing around with this, that could be easily done a little bit more, or a little bit better. Oops. All my stuff all rigged up here. I'm gonna take a quick break, probably like 5 minutes or something, and I'll be at the back. Oh, it's big me. Let's do. I'm just gonna do this. Put the BRB on. Oh no, I'm not gone for lunch. BRB. BRB. And actually, I think maybe I'll throw on something something to watch here. Fusion 360 videos. I don't know. Jeez. Drums. There we go.
Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're taking a look at a highly requested tutorial for Fusion 360, which is an introduction to forms and sculpting.
Just throw this up in the chat here. Be right back.
See this little icon here that says create form, and we're going to click on that, And what that'll do is it'll take you into a different workspace. You can see here we've just got so many new tools available to us, and it can kind of be a lot to take in if you've never seen any of this stuff before. But as I said, we're going to start simple, get you familiar with the environment, how to manipulate shapes, and then in future videos I'll, start designing things and you can follow along. So let's have a go. First thing we're going to do is just create a simple box, and we can do that up here. There's a tool available for us just called box. So we're going to click on that, and then it's going to ask us what plane we want to place it on. I'm just going to select the floor plane here, and then you're going to have to draw out where you want the box to be. So I'm just going to use the center point as a reference, and I'm going to make this box 100mm by 100mm. Once you're done, hit enter. And as you can see, we've got this new shape, and it doesn't quite look like what you'd expect from the other CAD workspace, and that's because the sculpting workspace works in a slightly different way, and I'm going to explain that for you. So the sculpting workspace is all about smooth curves, right? That's how it works. It's working with splines, and we have different properties and features here which I'm going to get into that you can manipulate to create these really cool, clean, smooth looking shapes. And no matter what you do or how you manipulate each of these features, this workspace is always going to try and create the smoothest transition between the different edges, faces and vertices. We've obviously created a box here, but you can create other shapes too, there's spheres, cylinders, that kind of stuff. So as I said, there are different features on this model that we can manipulate, and just to cover some of the terminology you'd find in sort of 3D modeling, basically we've got faces, edges and vertices. Faces are obviously these large surfaces on the outside of the object. The edges obviously are the edges of any face, so we've got the edges around here. And the vertices will be the points where the edges meet, right? So we've got a vertice there, and you'll see a vertice because it'll be a little dot on the model. And as I said, you'll find these all over the model where the edges meet up, and again you can select them by clicking on them. As I said, all of these different features can be manipulated to create whatever shape we want. So let's go ahead and try to do that. Remember, this is basic stuff, but in order to create something more advanced, you really have to understand what's going on at this basic level. So as I showed you briefly there, you can select faces just by clicking on them. You can also select multiple faces by holding Control and continuing to click. And you can select as many as you want. This is also true for the edges. So if we click on the edges and hit Control, we can select the desired edges that we want. But also if we wanted to select the entire edge, if we double click, you'll see that it'll automatically select the entire edge around the entire object. This is also true for the faces as well. If you double click on a face, it'll select the entire object. Same applies to the vertices. If we want to select multiple vertices, you can click, hold Control and just continue to click. And as you can see, it's selecting them for us. So now that we know how to select different features on the model, let's talk a little bit about how we can use some freeform modifying to change the shape of this object. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select the entire outer edge here. So I'm going to double click, and you can see I've got that outer edge selected. Now if we go up to the toolbar and click modify, remember I said we've got so many different tools in there, right? And we're only going to cover one or two of them in this video. But if we go to edit form, what you'll see is a whole bunch of controls pop up in the middle here, and we can use this to move and manipulate this model however we want. So if I just click this little drag arrow here, which is essentially an extrude, we can just manipulate this object in any direction we want. And I'm just going to Control Z this here and show you can do it in other directions. And it just sort of shows you how much control you have over this object. And again, if we pull it straight up and keep going, you can see we've kind of created this sort of caved bowl shape pretty much immediately, right, without doing too much work. And I'm going to Control Z again and show you some of the others. So we've also got these rotation controls. So if we click one of those and just start rotating, you can see we get this kind of twist method. As I said before, you can really see here in the sculpt workspace what it's trying to do, right? It's just trying to do its best to join up all these different splines and edges and create the smoothest sort of transition between them as it possibly can, which is why you get these sort of smooth curves, and you'll typically not see many harsh edges in this workspace. You can see if we keep twisting, we can get some really sort of wacky shapes. And these can be fun things to 3D print as well, if you're doing sort of vase mode stuff. It's pretty fun to play around with. So again, I'm going to Control Z it and go back. You've also got a few others in here, like scale. So if I select, you can see, they're kind of hard to see, but there's a sort of edge one that looks a bit like the fillet symbol.
you can click that and you can modify that. So you can scale that entire edge outward or inward. And the same goes as well for some of the other faces. You can drag it across at an angle and kind of get this weird shape again. Now what you'll notice when you're playing around with this is that sometimes it's not always going to do what you think it would do, and that's what you really need to get used to when working in this workspace. It requires a lot of practice. I've been playing around with it for a while now, and it's just about learning sort of what tools to use and when. Playing around with it is a great way to just figure things out, figure out the workspace, and then you can start thinking about the order in which to do things and best practices and that kind of thing. So that's kind of modifying the edges. If we click on a face here, we get the same controls, right? So we can drag this up and we can drag up the one side of the face, and you can see it's raised that one side of the object and try to maintain that smoothness as it does it. So again, if we go back, we can do the same with vertices. So you get the same controls depending whichever feature you want to manipulate. So again, the vertice, we can pull that straight up and get a kind of dome shape in the middle. And again, if I just hit OK, I can select a different one, come up to modify, and again we can pull that out. As you can see as well, it just kind of freely molds and moves as you play with the object. As I said, just have a play around with that, get used to the tools, what they do, how you can use them, and you'll find it useful then when we get to later videos and we're actually using them in a practical way. So as you saw there, it's cool that we can modify this object to create whatever shapes we want, but you might notice that we're very limited here with the number of faces and the number of edges that we've got, which massively reduces the resolution of the model and the detail that we'll be able to add. So now what I'll do is I'll show you how you can increase that resolution so that you can make more advanced detailed changes that will result in better models. So what we're going to do is going to go ahead and finish this form, and we're going to go and create a new one. So back up here we've got create form, and once again we're going to place a box. So let's grab the box, select the plane that we want to place it on, which is the floor plane. I'm just going to draw a box out here next to this one. So I'm going to make this again 100mm by 100mm. If we just click,
Alright,
what that'll do is it'll create that shape for us, but now it's giving us a few more options. So we can define the height of it straight away. So if we want to increase the height, we can just pull this up and make it more of a cube shape.
I forgot to add in the
So
at the very beginning there. I forgot to add in some of
the, so that we
the
get
audio
this
for
cube.
the
And also you'll see these other icons
for this
which
computer.
have an up
It's
and
kind
down
of funny.
arrow. And if we click and
Alright,
drag that
where's
up,
me?
what you'll see is it adds some
Turn
more
the BRB
faces
off,
in there
turn
for
me
us.
back on.
More faces, more edges, more vertices.
So
everything. So what that's doing effectively is increasing the resolution
I like to
of
put
our
on
model,
some
meaning
stuff
we
when
can
I'm
make
away,
more detailed
just
changes
for-
to it. Now what I'll say with this is you don't want to go too crazy with it. You wouldn't want to add.
I gotta work
say,
on my own stuff
50
instead of
or
other
100
people's,
of
but
these
other
in.
people do a good job
Mainly
to
because it's
explaining
probably
things.
gonna crash
I
your
don't mind that.
computer, and the model's just going to be too complex, way more complex than it needs to be.
Yeah,
So
don't
what
do
I'd say
that.
is start with maybe
You know all these rules,
10
I would imagine, too, working
as
with
a starting point, but as you
what do you call it? Polygons. Polygons. Alright. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's a good there's a lot of good forum stuff if you're looking for yeah, this is a good basics one. The hardware guy, he's got lots of good stuff. This is another really great one. This is like topology in general, though.
A video about topology.
This is the link that I usually send to people if they're
Essentially
getting started in form and doing form environment stuff in Fusion 360. But this works in any type of
how do we think through
modeling.
Plan out the construction of T-spline geometry to make something look the way we intend.
T-splines,
We'll look at some semi-practical
I guess, would
examples,
be
and hopefully by the end
terminology
we'll at least have an understanding that topology...
I'll like this one too. This one's really good. I gotta do a little bit more Blender stuff. I only use it to do like oh geez, what is it called in there? Different kind of surfaces, like surface finishes. I forgot what that's called. I don't remember. Anyways, yeah, those are really good. Let's see here. Just throw some tunes back on. It's hard to believe how much content there is in the world for different stuff. Pretty much, almost pretty much everything exists already. Just the different flavors and the different characters and whoever else. Like, I'm kind of exploring this stuff, so that's my content that I'm putting out into the world. Exploring how to do things. Trying out different stuff, you know, trying to figure out how to do certain things, I guess. So yeah, kind of happy with that. The first two were, let's see here, pretty crazy. Let's go all the way back time here to about here. No. So yeah, that was after this one here. Right there. So this was, I was trying to figure out, it's like, how do I really want to do this? So there's an automatic feature where you can draw, the lines will draw automatically. It's like the easiest slope, I guess, between 2 points, so here and here. And then you can manipulate this as you want to go. So what I did with the first one, yeah. So I did these are all multiples. Okay. First, second. Yeah, it's these ones here. So this is a little bit more complicated than doing the other method that I was demonstrating earlier. I don't know if you were here for that or not. I can do it again if you'd like. Okay, let me see here. Okay. So before putting the bodies on, essentially this is 3D sketching, and like the idea behind this was, oh, okay, awesome, yeah, really close to the subdivision. I think that's a word that I've used. So subdivision is probably really similar to what you're doing. So yeah, the whole idea of this is it's a series of sketches that are constrained to each other. And then finally, when it becomes where I need to connect two things together, this is one sketch, and then that's what I was doing, I think, when you first came in, if I'm not mistaken, or when I noticed you come in, or it was just before that, either one. And then this here is this is all in one sketch, 3D sketching. It's a little bit different. It's kind of a pain in the ass, a little bit. But if you just set things up and you can build one sketch linearly, one off another, sometimes that's a good way to get things to be in space where you want them to be. So, oh yeah, shit, I forgot to lower that. My bad. Hopefully that's a little bit better. You'll probably use a little bit more volume on my voice too. It's actually kind of low, so hopefully that's all right. The microphone is a couple inches away from my, 2 inches too far away. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, thanks for the reminder. Sometimes I forget. I haven't streamed regularly in a few years, so this is I'm just relearning all the things that I used to do. I was like, oh yeah, this is really annoying if I don't do this. And it's kind of strange too, like when you watch a stream, it's you don't really think about all this stuff, but then you start streaming, you're like, oh yeah, you have to do all these other little things that you never really think about. We just kind of take for granted as viewers. Yeah, thanks for that. So yeah, it's just like stacking one on top of another, and then I wanted to try stacking components, which is what I actually like doing, because it feels more like playing with stuff, if that makes any sense. So I'll do a, let's see here. I'll save out the model after, is it these two? Okay, so there's this one here and this one here. I'll save it out at this, oops, cancel. Can I save as? Yep. Let's do, I don't know. So it should have a second header. Show location. There we go. And a bunch of stuff here. I'm gonna save this one. So finish that. Tube 2. Delete. So save that. Open up this guy. Close this one. Didn't I save this again? Header 2. There we go. Probably probably saved another one. That's all good. So let's do roll back to here. There's two in this, or just one? Yeah, okay. So the idea behind the component level stuff is these things can are variable just as components, like quickly. So if I wanted just to, oops, take this one and put it here and here, I think it's a little bit faster, and I think it's a little bit more fun too, to be honest with you. I like to do it this way. And then do revolute joints for a lot of this stuff. And if I was building, I would say tube 3, for example, take both of these, put those in there. Revert position. Okay. So probably generally don't want to do that. It would be more like actually let's do an export. I do Carzies, so 38 straight. I'll do it correctly this time. Straight in the cloud. Yeah. Okay. So I get rid of these things here, delete, and then go back. I'm just gonna go back in the timeline a little bit. Before these things were what they are. Delete all features after history. I'm gonna make a new component. Couple schools of thought. I'm gonna attack it right at the end here. I could make it external or internal. I'm just gonna keep it internal to this tube 3. I said tube. Unground. Tube 3. Show you. A little bit of setup before I start here. So starting up with motion that's correct and locked into place. And then when I bring some of this stuff in, I don't know, I have the, can I refresh here? I have 38. Oh, it didn't actually go. Go figure. Oops. Select files. F3D. Straight. Why this wasn't saved on here, I don't know. Oh, it just popped up. Great, look at that. Oh, geez, don't change Fusion. Don't change. Such a funny thing. So I'm importing these into the, what do you call it? The correct component. And just gonna tack those into place on the origin, not necessarily on these bodies. So then I have a good starting point. There we go. Start that with 0. Maybe do a revolute joint for now. Turn the bodies back on. And then start going from here. Right, so now I have the ability to turn this to wherever I want it to be. And I can change the angle. Will it let me change the angle? Revert. It's strange. Oh, it's because these are external. My bad. Where's break link? And break link. Strange. Didn't used to do that. Delete. Do that again. Bodies. Different reference, I suppose. A lot of these are the Revolute. Okay, so these are, I can make this bigger or smaller, change the angle, and then change the rotation. So I can kind of go wherever I want to go with this. And the nice part about this is that it's, oops, revert, gonna go back, paste new. So I get more instances of these things that I can join together. So you and you. Do that as a rigid, and then I'll do this one as a revolute joint. So that gives me rotation on this one. So this is not really in the right spot. Depending on where I go or how I want to do this. Like say I wanted to go around this and on the bottom instead of over top. Or if I still want to go on the top, how do I get to where I want to go? So this is kind of like how I think about, just kind of like my experience with Fusion and how I want to work with it. You can kind of see that, that's kind of in the general spot. I think that's all right. And then, because they're all individual components, I could just say, this individual thing I want to actually lock it in place now. So, not edit feature. That's the wrong one. Oh boy, I gotta wait for Fusion here. Edit sketch. And then toggle driving and say, I'm just gonna get it close with 30. And I could do this also with parameters and logic, which is even more cool. So have them driving, not driving based on logic. I don't know if you can do that in the free version though. The non-commercial version, that might be a paid feature now. That's actually one of the things I really liked about Inventor. So 80. So locking in the angles for things. And then this rotation here. Rotation. Revolute. I can edit that or drive the joint. What was it before here? I forgot. 129. Edit. So 129. Seems about right. And then rigid. So this is locked into place now, but the rotation here is a little bit different. And I need to have this a little bit higher so I can see that. A little higher. Maybe something like that. Looks good. So 150, 152. That's sketch, driving, 152. And then it's the same thing with this one here. So it has a revolute. This is 102, 101. Crap, I can't see it. Drive joint 100. Okay. Edit joint. So 100. That's what it said. And then this can become rigid. So now I have the pipe is all rigid up into this location. And it just kind of seems like a more fun way to do things. So that's what these in here. I gave these part numbers at this point because they're all different pieces. And then I'm going to have maybe a little bit more, something like that. Or this would be a straight tube that's on there a little bit. Probably a straight tube. And then I need to connect whatever this one's going to be. So here, because I can do that, I could say, let's do a pipe and a pattern pipe. I can just change this because I'm in the tube. I create a new component, 38. Yeah. It's just going to create the new component, and I just can call it straight or whatever else, or just leave it the same for now. And then also maybe select these first two things here again, copy, oops, paste new. So I get two new ones that are up here again. Joint these guys together. Like that. Another joint. Make this one rigid. So I can do this down here now. And maybe out a little bit further. Oops. I could just change this to like, I don't know, 50 or something. So now that I have these two, here's what I was doing before actually. Let me get rid of this one. Just delete this here. Yep. Okay, so I have this here and I need to connect these two. So I think this is the workflow that I'm happy with, like doing this. It's the last connection that I have to sketch out, and I'm totally fine with that. And the reason for that being is there's nothing to tell there's nothing to drive the joints themselves inside those components. So I would have to do that with parameters or something else, and I think for the amount of work that it is, it's not that bad doing it this way. It could be fully automatic, like if I was to say, okay, this one's gonna have 10, like how many joints in it, 6 or 7 joints, and then I could build that whole component, so I can rotate all this stuff here and go around everything, stretch things out, and then I could lock those all in place. Maybe that might be something I can do in the future, but like right now, I think this is okay if I was to build this again. And then I could do this with all these standard components that I've done. So this 38 is just 1.5 inch outside diameter, but I could do like a full study or like a larger piece or smaller. Do this with pretty much anything really. I want to investigate to see if I can build curves with arcs and lines instead, because that would be even more powerful. So I try and figure out if somebody's done that code already. That would be extremely powerful. So built using a polyline, I think. Yeah, polyline instead of a spline. So just ask that question here. Is there... Can I build a polyline spline? In AutoCAD? So you can do this in AutoCAD. Yeah, p-edit. Yeah, it's a different kind of math that goes into it. So somebody's built a module to do that. That'd be amazing. So in Fusion, I'm just gonna do a 3D sketch. I'm gonna include some 3D geometry, which would be this line and this line. Take off those bodies, and now these are the two. Do off those sketches as well. So these are the two that I have to connect. In a beautiful world, I could just do that and use that, but this piece is hard to manufacture with. It's hard to manufacture without having a stamping tool or hydraulic press, hydraulic presses and stuff like that. Oh my goodness. I've forgotten that what that thing is. Is it hydroforming? Oh my goodness. It was like hydroforming press instead of others, because it's a compound curve. A compound curvature. So I came up with the idea to do something like this, which kind of like blew my mind a little bit. I was like, oh yeah, I can overbuild these. This is like straightforward. Take off those constraints. Close that. Inline constraint with this, inline constraint with that. So these two are like that. I can join these two lines together like a so, and then fill it. So 38. I think this is where you came in on the other one. The other drawing. 38. So that works really well. I'm pretty happy with that. So there's stuff here, and then I should be able to join these ends up here, and then this will go to wherever it needs to go. So that's pretty great. I'm not gonna lie about that one. I like that. Seems like it's a pretty solid way to do this end without having to do some like Insano sketches and like all that stuff. So that's good work that I did today as far as that goes. So yeah, so that's the header pipe from start to finish there. In a way that's not like horrible, I guess. And then what I can do is within this, because this is tacked down to here, I should be able to move that constraint. Can I actually do that here too? No, I don't think I can. Yeah, because these are their own little groups there. Maybe. No, I don't think so. Yeah. So to do like volumes and stuff like that, I can make should be able to select all the bodies. Filters, select bodies only. Go from here, and then I want to add all these components. Keep the tools. Okay, so that's, I forgot the extra step here. Oops. So that does it there because it's in that component. I want it in the main component, which is this whole thing. So I'm gonna select bodies still. Okay, so it should have bodies here now. And now I can create all of these, stack them together. Right, so then I can have a volume for this. Yeah, and then I can compare it to the other ones. So if I need to make these longer, make them shorter, I could have like a printout like in the back and do like a few things that are just a little bit. Yeah, I don't know anything about the performance either. That's a lot of the testing that goes into that. Even if it's my brother did quite a lot of work for NASCAR, and like doing the calculations like for this sort of thing, it's like it gets you close, but you still have to go and build it and then tune it with the actual pieces. It's crazy, like the engineering that goes into like racing products and engines and stuff, just changing all the tuning for the day and the temperature and the forecast. That's all crazy. It's exciting, you know, but this is just like play stuff for me. But yeah, just figuring out the actual workflow is what I really wanted to get finished today. Seems like kind of a fun, good way to do this. Fairly parametric too, depending on where everything's placed. So if I moved all the like the hole spacing in the flange, for example, everything should change. Now it's gonna break stuff along the way because, well, it depends. Actually, all these things are rigid in their own components, so they're all gonna move together as one piece. But this curvature can change. So we can like actually test that a little bit. I don't know. Was this a? Where's the sketch? I didn't actually design, like, this is all built on stuff that's old, so. Is this even a pattern? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, it is a pattern. I was like, am I blind? Pattern. So if I was to change this to, I don't know, 60? What does this do to everything? So I'll just change that to 400. Or 20? Alright. How badly does this destroy everything? So the first two are 3D sketches, so they're I would have to go back into the sketches, I think, and redo, see what's broken. Yeah, so a lot of this stuff is in its own thing. Hang on. 2, 3. Yeah, so there's some other references, but this one moved, and this is actually okay. So what I did here is fairly parametric too. So as long as I'm thinking about stuff like that, I can change. If I got a model that's really nice, it would be really cool to actually parameterize the volumes of these. That would be really cool, actually. So equal length header, and then you'll probably quantify the bends too. So if there's sharper bends here, right? How long? I don't know. We could do. How would you even do that? It would be. What would you do? It would be like an energy study, maybe. It's like you do flow, but it's like how much losses do you have because of the corner? That would be velocity, I would imagine, right? That's the whole idea for these. Velocity and resonance. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into that. I just thought about like 5 parameters right there. So how do you quantify all these, and then you change the one, and just like you could see it, the numbers change in real time. That's like a full-blown simulation program, like a full-blown simulation. So like all in all, not bad. For what I do, you know, I just like to build stuff in CAD and then do drawings and do all this, like this stuff here. So if I have to redo it, if I save, I don't know, doing it this way, I've saved myself a little bit of headache, made it more fun, and then probably saved a few hours, I would say, total, as long as I do all these correctly. Now, because I have this as a component, I could bring, like, maybe try something again here. I have to take off here in a minute to go for dinner. But, if I copy this and paste a new one beside it, and then I can lock this one down in place, maybe. If it's similar, you know, it's not a not too far off the mark. So depending on where like all the other rest of this stuff flies, you know, move all this stuff out a little bit. 50. So it's actually, it gets it pretty close, you know. the next one. If I wanted this down further, it would have to like tip out a little bit. So this angle probably has to change a little bit. 70. This does have to be a little bit longer, maybe. 70. Udo. Really far. So it's like playing around with stuff. I don't know. I think it's okay. It's another way. 75. Probably doesn't even have to be that far. So something that looks nice, I guess, and like all the rest on Flurl. Maybe I'll try it again. Have some fun another day. But yeah. There's the garbage. We'll just there we go. We'll just not do that there then. Thanks for coming to hang out, man, and what do you call it? Giving me a follow. I really appreciate that. Made my day. Yeah, so we'll save that for now. All right. I was gonna upload some stuff to the website today. I have a website where I have free models and promote this type of work and stuff like that. But there's a few things that I wanted to throw on there. I forgot what it was. It was the Tart tool is there. Crap, I forget what it was. Freebies. It was okay, now the grinder guard's there. Tubing holder and the custom drip tray. That's what it was. Do you do 3D printing and stuff like that too? Yeah, just like a drip tray for like a Keurig. Something like that. Stuff I made like ages ago. I'm just trying to publish. Get onto there. Ah, cool. Yeah. So it's like some of this, like the freebie stuff, will be mostly 3D printing. Not all of it, but like there's things I designed for like modifying like coffee grinders and stuff like that. I'll show you really quick here. Grinder guard. Okay, so the K-cup attachment for like this thing. This is a DeLonghi grinder. What this does is it just adapts, like it takes the whole piece out from the grinder, and you put this one in, and then you can grind right into a what do you call it, like a Keurig K-cup. So I've done like, I don't know, tons of this sort of stuff. So that's on the website there. Which reminds me, I got to put that on the Twitch page. Forgot about that. Where is that here? It's stuff. Yeah, this here. Just there, and then other stuff. If you want to buy those, they have a little bit more work. This is all work in progress. So kind of fun. Trying to give a lot more into the what do you call it, sphere than charging money for it. So I want to load up the free models portion with a bunch of stuff for that, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, thanks for watching. I really appreciate that. Have a good night or pleasant evening. I'll hopefully catch you around again. It was fun chatting with you. And anybody else, if you're chatting, if you watched today, thanks very much. If you're watching the VOD, well, thank you very much too. And hopefully